Alright, y'all. Trying to really pick up the pace on these videos. Hopefully keep them under 10 minutes. I know I don't want to be making these 30-minute videos of just me dropping names for y'all to look at. But I'm going to drop, a decent bit of names here because this is the early week one. I haven't done all my research, but just quick looking at it. Things to look at if you're playing the long slate, like Thursday to Monday night. You got on Sunday night Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady playing. Patrick Mahomes up at 9,000 and Tom Brady at 8,800. I can't really fault you for either one. Tom Brady just got a bunch of weapons back. He's at home. That offense looks kind of unstoppable. I think this potentially could be the match of the AFC Conference Championship. I was hoping Jags, Kansas City, and I'm still not turning my back on the Jags because they didn't have Leonard Fournette. The coaching staff decided to throw a ton when they were ripping off 10-yard runs every time they went for it. So I don't get it. I think they could get in line and put more weight on the running backs and then stand a chance. But those two, it's going to be a shootout. Crazy good offensive weapons on both sides and not a very good defense. Play the Thursday through Sunday or Sunday through Monday slate and get either one of those in your lineup. You do have to pay up for them. If you're not paying up and you're just playing the Sunday main slate, I saw Matt Ryan got hurt. Now, no, he burned us last week if you followed my advice, but he's playing at home this week, and so that's basically what I'm going to go with. He had x-rays on his foot after Sunday's loss, the results coming back negative for any fracture. So it looks like he's going to be fine. When they're playing in the Dome, Matt Ryan is completely different. And they're playing Tampa Bay. Awful defense, especially against the pass, and Atlanta just has too many weapons to stop. So Matt Ryan dropping down. You got Andy Dalton playing at home against Pittsburgh at 7,500. Andy Dalton has been playing consistent. He has weapons around him. Just got Joe Mixon back. And Pittsburgh is awful. So that looks like it could be a shootout. I'm not trusting Ben Roethlisberger on the road. So if you're trying to go there, Ben Roethlisberger on the road is not the best player. So I don't want to go there. You got Cam Newton, just a little too expensive for me. Phillip Rivers could be interesting against Cleveland at 8,300. Jared Goff, 2 receivers going down with concussions. So, if they both come back, Denver isn't the worst matchup. But if he's missing even one of them, I'm not going anywhere near it. And then my play, maybe play of the week at quarterback. You get to save some money. 7,400. He's playing Atlanta. Jameis Winston back for his first full game after a bye week. Gets to get on top with the offense. Comes back. He's got too many weapons to not be good. And Atlanta's defense is too bad for any quarterback to not be good against them. He's got something to prove after Fitzpatrick came in and almost stole his job from him. So watch that game. I'm going to be throwing Winston in a lot of my 50-50 lineups. I'm not worried about it. Atlanta's defense is just that bad. And Tampa Bay really doesn't have a running back either. I want to target one of their running backs. And I'm going to throw this out here in GPP. Ronald Jones is a great play. But in 50-50, I just can't trust any of their running backs. So moving on to running backs for the 50-50, Todd Gurley, just just throw him in everything. Todd Gurley is the way to go. He's going to be, Gurley will be in almost every 50-50 lineup I do. He's playing Denver, so Denver is, not the best defense against it. They're actually pretty bad against the run. He especially think about if two of those wide receivers can't go. Gurley is the guy. If even one of them, Gurley is going to be soaking up most of the receptions that those running backs or those wide receivers don't get. So then we got Melvin Gordon at 8,800 playing Cleveland. Joe Mixon at Pittsburgh going 7,500. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Joe Mixon versus Pittsburgh. Sorry, I wrote that down wrong. Thought so. Joe Mixon at home against Pittsburgh for 7,500. He just came back, looked awesome. I know I have him in my big season-long league, and I'm pretty stoked about that. My running backs in my season-long are so set. 5 of the top 15. I'm in a 10-team league, so it's not quite as difficult as a 12, but to get that. But still, 5 of the top. I think they're top 12 now. But anyway, then we got James White and Sony Michel. Sony Michel, another running back I got on that team, and I think if I have to pick one, I want to give it to Sony Michel because I think he's in 50-50 guaranteed more touches. And with those weapons coming back, with Gronk being a little healthier next week, with Edelman getting an extra week practicing, with Josh Gordon getting this long week. They played on Thursday, and the Patriots have been talking, if we just get through this game, we're going to come back the next week and look like a completely different team. And I think part of it is that Josh Gordon is going to step up from his, I think he's been getting 15 to 20%, or right around 20% of the snaps, which isn't enough for him to be viable. But I think when he comes back, he's going to be in that 40 to 50% of the snaps range. And he's going to command receptions. And I think when they have that deep threat, James White is going to be there, but Edelman is going to take some of James White's play away from him. Now they have that deep threat in Gordon, and they still got Gronk coming back. So I don't see James White continuing the target count that he's been getting. He's not going to get 10-plus targets every single game. I think he settles in to, 10 to 12 touches a game, maybe 4 or 5 rushes, and, 5 or 6 receptions. Still, playable, but at 7,100, I don't want to trust that. Sony Michel against Kansas City's defense, I think they're gonna run with him. If they'd done that with T.J. Yeldon last week, the Jags could have won that game. But Yeldon was breaking off, 5, 6, 7 straight first downs on first down rushes. So I think Michel has a monster game. I could see White having a monster game too, but I just think Michel is going to get the points. Whereas White, I think, his targets could be eaten up by some of the other mouths over in New England. Dropping down to 6,500, guy I'm playing in a ton of lineups. We got Marshawn Lynch at Oakland, his old team. Now, I don't give too much weight to these vendetta games, guy coming back playing against his old team. But this game is in Oakland versus Seattle Seahawks. So, they don't have to play in Seattle, which is big. And, I could see Marshawn Lynch in that game. Like, Marshawn Lynch is the type of player that maybe the whole Vendetta game means something. But more importantly than any of that is just that he's been getting more and more touches each week. Now this last week he didn't go up in touches. He went way down. He had a pretty bad game. I'm looking at the stats right now. Only 9 rushing attempts for 31 yards and 2 receptions for 10 yards. But he's getting a couple receptions, so he's got those points there. This game, they're going to be able to keep it close and maybe even take the lead. And Seattle's D is just not what it used to be. So you can definitely target them. So I think they're going to roll with Lynch quite a bit. Let him run it down their throats. And I think he's definitely going to pay off his 6,500 price. I don't really question that at all. So if you want to drop down maybe a little bit more even, we got Chris Thompson coming in at 6,100. He didn't do much this past game, and that was kind of what I was looking for. So I don't know that I'm really going to go with him, but this was kind of the game that he should have been used more. But they did use him quite a bit. I think his time of being looked at as like somebody who maybe could be looking like a wide receiver 1 or definitely wide receiver 2, maybe over, but he might still have some games left in him. He put up the big numbers. I don't know if I'm using him 50-50, but in GPP he might be worth playing. And then it looks like Matt Breida is going to miss this game. Alfred Morris hasn't looked that great, but at 5,900 at Green Bay, and he's the only running back there. So you got to give thought to that. I mean, he's going to get the opportunity. His price is low enough that if you can throw him in there and he can hit value, you can do some great things with the rest of your lineup. So I think that's a good bet. And Lamar Miller, if he is still out, then Alfred Blue at 5,600 versus Buffalo would be probably the play of the week. Because of his low price, he performed fairly decent this week, and he's playing Buffalo. Although, from what I'm reading, Lamar Miller is supposed to be back, so it's something to keep an eye on. It's something I'll keep an eye on, and in the next video, I'll let you know 100% whether Lamar Miller is playing. If the information is there, I'll find it and let you know. But yeah, so that finishes up running backs. Going wide receivers, we got Antonio Brown at Cincinnati, potential shootout. I don't like trusting Ben Roethlisberger on the road, but Antonio Brown does his thing. For the most part, no matter what, they fed him last week. So look for that trend to continue. Devontae Adams, who is playing on Monday night, but he's playing San Francisco. He just had a great game. If Randall Cobb and Guillermo can't play, then you got to throw him back in there. At 8,400, he might be one of the best wide receivers to play for the week if you're going to play that Monday night slate. Then Mike Evans at 8,000 is going to be in a ton of my lineups because he's playing Atlanta. He's also got a history with Winston, so he's going to get some points. This Atlanta defense. This game is going to be a shootout. So 8,000. He's probably the wide receiver I'm looking to target. I'm going to spend up for him. Spend up for a few running backs. I'm spending down a little bit at quarterback. So that's where I'm getting that extra money. to move up for Evans. Dropping down, tons of people avoid recency bias. Make some money off of those people that aren't going to throw Boyd in their lineup against Pittsburgh because of how he played last week and how they got burned. Don't get burned and just throw, versus Pittsburgh. Again, the shootout potential, 6,300. His value is there. He had a bad game. Everybody has bad games. I mean, Kelsey put up, 2 points week 1, and now he's been on a roll. Every player in the NFL is going to have a bad week. Throw Boyd back in there, 6,300. He'll pay off. Sanu, 5,800, another shootout versus Tampa Bay. Things to look at. Valdez-Scantling, if the 2 other Green Bay wide receivers are out, then he's a play worth looking at. Chris Godwin in that shootout. If you can't afford Evans, you maybe can go down to him. I think in GPP, Jackson might be the better play for Tampa Bay wide receiver, but Chris Godwin I think is more consistent, so 50-50, he could be viable. And Rodgers from Indianapolis, who had a huge game. If T.Y. Hilton can't play again, he's definitely in the mix and worth looking at. Moving on, we got tight ends. Both tight ends, if you could paying up, it was a great week to pay up because we got Gronk at 7,900 versus Kansas City, and Kelsey at 7,700 at New England. Kelsey has just been playing better. The matchup is good on both sides. So I'm going Kelsey. Save me $200 and get the tight end that I think at the same value is still the better one. Then drop down a bit. You got Eric Ebron at 6,500 at the New York Jets. He had a huge game last week. Now, if T.Y. comes back, and especially if Doyle comes back, then, I don't think he's the number 1 tight end. I think it's still AB with him and Doyle. So, if Doyle comes back, he's still going to get points, but I wouldn't trust him. Reed had a really bad game last night. Didn't really do much at all. But he was playing New Orleans, who have been decent against the tight end. So 6,200 is not a bad play versus Carolina. Dropping down a bit, which if I'm not paying up for Kelsey, then I'm probably dropping down and getting, Hooper showed that he's a part of that offense, and they're playing Tampa Bay, so 5,600 ain't bad. You got Njoku at 5,500. Versus the Chargers. Vance McDonald, again, recency bias, but, at that price, it's hard to pass up when he's playing Cincinnati. Don't throw him in everything because he's not guaranteed, but 4,600 is a good price. And then the value of the week at tight end, Cameron Brate, 4,500 at Atlanta. Jameson Winston last year was throwing to him a ton. And so he's coming back at he's coming in to fill in for this injury at the perfect time. And I think at 4,500 versus Atlanta, he's got to be the tight end you're looking at to save money. So I'm either going to be paying up for Kelsey, I think, or go in with a combination of Cameron Brate, McDonald, Hooper, and maybe Njoku. But this week I'm just gonna switch up. The tight end didn't kill me, but it definitely could have helped me if I had got a decent play somewhere else. So I'm gonna be going with a lot of Cameron Brate because I think a lot of people will, and if he hits and you don't have him, you're going to get killed in 50-50s. But if he gets 50% play and he doesn't hit, it's not that big a deal because half of the people, had him on their lineup. So I don't think he's going to have 60% like McDonald, but I could see 40 to 50% after McDonald killing people last week. And then if we're going to defenses this week, I don't really see anything I like down low. I'm going to do more research throughout the week, but Jacksonville at Dallas, 4,700. Houston at Buffalo, 4,700 as well. And the play I'm going with is Chicago at Miami for 4,500. Oh, and that Houston is versus Buffalo. Buffalo is not home, so ups it a little bit for Houston. Yeah, so I'd say Chicago is my play. Save the 200. They're playing an awful offense. Like, Miami just isn't as good as their record says. Houston versus Buffalo, also a great play. And then Jackson versus Dallas. Really, just pay up for one of them this week. I'm a do a little more research, see if I can find a gem, but I think just go with the set points there. All right, y'all. Well, I will come back with a video later in the week with a little more set in stone advice, but there's some stuff to think about, some stuff to run through with your lineups. Good luck setting stuff this week. Hope you made some money last week, but I'll see y'all at the end of the week. All right, peace, y'all.